What is up guys, Gabe here. Welcome back to another video, and today we're gonna make a new preset. Now, as you guys know, I like to teach you guys a little bit about editing photos, and I also like to share those edits with you guys by giving you a free preset that you guys could use however you decide to use it. I don't know. You can apply it to your images or whatever work you're doing, landscapes, it doesn't really matter as long as it looks good. Go ahead. So as you guys know, I dedicate a lot of effort and time in this channel to try and teach you guys a little bit about photography and editing and stuff like that. And I know I haven't done this in a few videos, so I thought it was time already for me to, one, give you guys a new preset, and two, try to teach you guys a little bit about editing photos. Not that I consider myself to be the best or any authority in editing images, but I still want to share my vision with you guys, and I still want to share, the process that I go through when I edit some images. So I have a portrait here that I want to show you guys, and I want to edit with you guys together. Now, this portrait I took a few days ago because I was invited by a group of friends to do 4 photographer shoot 1 model challenge, and I'm gonna link that video down below. You got to check out that video. We had a lot of fun shooting that. It was amazing. Check out my friends from Never Sleep. They are amazing. Check out their content. Go follow everybody that you see there. They are amazing and great people and extremely talented, so go ahead and check that out. I'm gonna leave it down on the description. Anyways, back to the portrait. This is one of the portraits that I got from that session. This is one of the portraits that I submitted to the contest, if you will. So let's jump right into Lightroom and see what I did. Okay, so I'm here in Lightroom, and this is the image that I chose to edit with you and for you guys. Now, I'm not gonna go from scratch. And the reason is because a lot of the times when I'm working on images, I have some presets that I've already created in the past, and I start those as a base. And that's what we're gonna do now. I'm gonna pick a preset that I have already pre-made way before, and I'm gonna try to apply it to this image and go from there to get to the end result. And I'm gonna go to this preset that I made called Gabe Media Dark Sky. Now, Dark Sky, because I like the way that this preset that I've created kind of tones a lot down the sky right here, and it kind of accentuates the clouds and just gives it some mood, especially with her facial expression and all that. So if we go back to the original and back to the preset, you can see how the sky looks just a little bit better, at least for my taste. Now, first thing I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna try to straighten this image out a little bit, because you know how picky I am about that stuff. Now, I'm looking over here to see how everything is gonna look in a smaller scale. I tend to do that when I'm straightening out images, because I just find it easier to look at it in a small thumbnail and then go back to the big one, because sometimes here I can get a little bit lost. Now, click done there. That looks pretty good. There's not much cropping that I want to do to this image. I kind of want the feel to be a lot of negative space and just my subject here in the middle. So right off the bat, something that I can tell from this image is that it's a little bit too green for my taste. The skin tones look a little olive green, and I'm not particularly a fan of that. I'm not too hyped on skin tones being green. I mean, unless you're the Grinch, you shouldn't have green skin. Okay, so we're gonna try to fix that right now. So fixing that shouldn't be that bad. Jumping right here into the tint slider and just bringing the pinks up fixes that just like this. I think there would be great, around 33 for this particular image. I think it looks good. Another thing I want to do right now is fix the white balance a little bit. I think I want to push it to the warmer side just by quite a bit, I would say. I think right there should be good enough. Exposure wise, I don't think I want to touch it. Contrast, let's see what happens. Just adding just a tad of contrast, plus 19. Looks pretty good. Highlights, we could bring them down to make the sky look a lot more dramatic, but I think it was pretty good the way it was naturally. Maybe just bring it down to about 50. Shadows, it's already at a +5. Let's see what happens when we push the shadows. Now you see it's doing stuff that I don't like. I like the moodiness and the darkness that the shadows have, so I'm going to keep those right where they were at 5. Whites, I don't think I want to touch, and blacks either. Clarity, we'll just see how her skin reacts. It looks pretty good there at +22. Don't want to push it too much because we're dealing with a person, and if you do, it starts to look really ugly. The blues, we could play around with the tone of the blues a little bit. Let's get it down to a more minty green and bring that luminance just a tad bit down so it looks a little bit moodier, just like that. Maybe bring the saturation just a little bit down so that it's not overpowering the image. And right there it looks good. Now for the shadows, I do want to touch this. I do want to play around with this just a little bit just to see what happens. If we pick this, it kind of throws off the image. This too, split toning. This looks pretty appropriate. This does not. And back to here. So I think that we should keep it right there. It kind of adds some warm tones to the shadows, and I think it looks pretty good. Maybe we play with the intensity to see what happens. And I think that around 25% looks pretty good. We'll keep it there. The sharpening, I would try to bump it up just because I want to do something real quick. I want to bump up the sharpening, and I also want to bump up a little bit of that noise reduction to about 30 something or 30, because it smooths out whatever you do with the clarity. When you push the clarity a little bit up and then you add a little bit of sharpness and you add just a little bit of noise reduction, it kind of balances out the skin feel, if that makes any sense. Or this, not this, because it's not the skin tone, it's the way that the skin looks. I think it's a lot more pleasing to do this. It's just a trick, if you will, that I learned just by playing around with Lightroom, and I thought I would share with you guys to see how it will look in your images. At least for my images and the way that I like to edit, it's working fine up until now. I haven't hit any roadblocks or any problem along the way. So yeah, give it a try. Let me know how it goes for you. As soon as I look away from my computer and look back at it, I kind of noticed that her skin tone is still a little bit green for my taste. So, but the way that we're gonna fix that is by going to the channel that's appropriate to her skin. Is it the yellow? See, the yellow is only affecting the plants in the background, so I don't want these plants to be super green, so I'm going to put them back into that orange so that they kind of blend in with her skin and everything that's going on in the bottom of the image. Now, her skin should be in this orange hue, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to play with the orange hue. Not so much, because you see how much it's affecting her skin. Now, if we go back to where it was, we kind of want to bring the hue just a tad bit down. Right there, it looks pretty natural. Bring the saturation of it just a little bit down so that it's not overpowering, and we can bring the luminance just one click more down, and that looks extremely natural. If I were to have this model in front of me right now and I would be looking at this image, the two would look almost identical, and that's what I like to do with my images. And for me, that's how you should edit portraits and skin tones, in a way that it's real and it doesn't take away from the person. I already did my adjustments to the skin that I wanted to, the sharpening, the noise reduction, just making sure that I don't have any grain or anything like that. Now, usually for a lot of images, I like to do profile corrections, but as you can see, profile corrections here actually take away from the image, because the vignetting that we had natively from the lens, which I was using at 35mm 1.4, was actually giving the picture that mood. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this all the way down and keep that vignetting, because it kind of adds to the image and makes her stand out a lot more. So that's pretty much it. That's how I edited this image. It didn't take me a long time to figure out what I wanted to do with the image, because when I was shooting the image, I was framing the model where I wanted her, and I knew that the sky was coming out in the image and that I was gonna have enough detail to do an edit similar to this. So in my mind, as I was shooting, I already knew how I wanted to edit this image. So when I got to my computer and started playing with the presets and all that stuff, right off the bat, I knew which one to go to and what exactly I needed to do in order to get the image that was already on my mind. Now, if you want to give this image a little bit of a vintage feel, you could definitely throw some grain in there and just, you know, play around with it and make it your own. I will export this preset and I will link it to this video down below so that you guys could download it. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you were able to pick something up for yourself. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.